Hi, welcome to the Master's Workshop of WI. Glad that you're joining me here today. A lot of times people ask me, Mike, what should I buy for the woodworker in my life? Well, that's kind of a funny question because woodworkers like me are a funny bunch. We say we don't need anything, but there's always some toy or gadget or tool that we wouldn't mind having, but we won't buy for ourselves. So today I'm going to share with you some of the favorite items that I have that I've either been gifted or that I've bought for a gift for myself. Because, woodworkers, we like to buy our own gifts sometimes too. So stick with me, and I'm going to show you a bunch of things that I don't know that I can live without in my shop. These items are the great items we're going to look at today, from safety gear to can't live without setup and measuring tools, all the way to outstanding power tools. The first items we're going to talk about today are safety items. You want to keep your woodworker safe. You want him to have all 10 digits each day when he's done. You want his lungs to stay clear. You want his hearing to be good. So let me show you some things that help keep your woodworker safe. One of my favorites, and a lot of times I will have this right on my apron, but I'm always using it, is the RZ dust mask. This is nice. It has replaceable filters. So when this one gets too dirty, I can replace it. It fits right over my face, real nice. And it doesn't fog up my glasses. That's a major plus. For the ears, boy, I don't know that you can beat these IsoTunes Pro 2 earbuds. They're magnetic, so when you have them around your neck, you can clip them together. You aren't going to lose them. They fit tight in your ears. They have these nice rubber earplugs here that you just squeeze a little bit, stuff in your ear, it's nice and tight in there. The other nice thing is they're Bluetooth. So when I'm working, I can listen to my favorite music or audiobooks that I'm listening to on Audible, all sorts of different things. Something that's really great to keep your fingers safe at the table saw or router table is the Bow Products Feather Board. These here are not hard plastic. They're kind of a soft rubber foam type stuff, but it's so secure. When I have this in my table saw and a board goes past, I can put my weight behind it and I'm not going to pull it loose. And that's what you should be using instead of trying to use your fingers or say some stick or something to keep it tight against the fence. This will keep it tight and keep your woodworker's fingers safe. Along with that, we have the micro jig gripper. With this, if you have to take your blade off your saw for some reason, it's something that we all have to do sometimes. We're making dado cuts or other types of cuts, something real thin that we can't have the blade guard on. This goes right over your piece of wood and goes right over your blade. So you don't have to worry about your fingers getting in the way. Another thing that's great, and this was a gift for my wife, is the blade lock. What this does, when you have to change your blade, you either have to hold on to the blade tight while you're trying to get the nut loose, or you have to jam a piece of wood or something in there. With this just fits right over the blade, holds it tight. You aren't getting your fingers in danger. It's got these little nubs on each end to keep it from spinning with the blade, and it's real easy to loosen the arbor nut. This one is kind of safety, but it also protects your tools. This is a little wizard lumber scanner to see if there's any metal in your wood. Let's face it, if you're a woodworker, you probably at some time or another had a hidden nail or some other metal thing in your wood that you're cutting. With this, you can just scan your piece of wood, and if it beeps, you have a piece of wood that you have to try and figure out where it is or make sure you cut around it. These are some great safety items that will keep your woodworker safe. A couple bonus items. This is called the Long Ranger 3 for my dust collector system. My dust collector is at that end of the shop. If I'm using any of the tools at this end or anywhere in the shop, All I have to do is open the blast gate, hit the button, and you can hear my dust collector just kicked in. That's keeping my lungs safe by collecting the dust right at the machine. Something else that goes right along with that is, oh, see if I can get this up here. It's attached to my vacuum cleaner, so bear with me. I should have planned this out better, shouldn't I? This is the Oneida Dust Deputy. It fits on a 5-gallon pail. The vacuum hose connects to here. The stuff swirls around inside and then gets sucked up into the vacuum through here. To be honest, since I've added this to my wet dry vac here, I have a rigid wet dry vac that it's attached to. I don't have to empty my vacuum anymore. All the dust and chips and everything is trapped inside the pail. In fact, you can see here that I have some chips. I had just emptied this recently. But the way this works is this just goes on here like so. Whoops. I'm getting you all over the place, aren't I? And then this gets clipped to the vacuum cleaner. This hose goes on there. And my lungs are safe. I use this all the time when I'm sanding. I connect it to my sanders. I don't have to worry about that sand getting in my lungs. That is a great gift for the woodworker in your life to help keep him healthy. I forgot one safety item that's not exactly a safety item, but sure helps keep me clean. And this is my woodworking apron. Now, there's lots of brands out there, a lot of really good ones. For years, I used one by Duluth Trading, but then I found this one by Cat's Moses. And I'd say the Cat's Moses one is the cat's meow for me. I love that it has pockets for my pens. I use various types of pens, keep a couple of short rulers, a spring punch. There are a host of other products that I will show some other time down in the lower pockets. So now that we've talked about the safety item, let's talk about the measuring tools that I couldn't live without. First one I'm going to talk about is a good double square. Now you can have double squares, which means they're flat on both sides, or you can have a combo square, which is a 45-degree on one side and then flat on the other. This is a Starrett one. Starrett tools are just super precision and you can't beat them. This was actually a gift from a friend of mine. He got me the 6-inch one, and he also got me the 4-inch one. Both of these have earned a place in my apron. Nice thing about this apron is the 6-inch one fits right there. So it's always ready for measuring a piece of wood, like if I'm going through a planer or something like that. And the small one's always ready for tool setups and small measurements. Something else I always keep in my pocket is this eye gauging fastener calipers. There's a lot of digital calipers out there. And the problem that I have with them is you can usually measure in millimeters, metric, or inches, so it's a 0.00 something, or fractions, but the ones with the fractions always go down to 128. Now, let's be honest. For a woodworker, how often do we need to get accuracy within 128 of an inch? The great thing about this one is it will do each of those. We have the metric mode right there, which I know you can't really see on camera, but I'm showing it. Next, it's the inches, where you have the 0.004. And then you have the standard 128th. So if you really want it, you have it. But what I like it is when you put it on the fastener mode, where it says not on the end, it only measures down to 32nd of an inch. That's close enough for me. And accurate, boy, you can't beat it. I've used a couple different brands, and This one just shines above them all. Another product, which has earned a permanent place right inside my apron, right there. That way I never have to worry about where I am and if I have it or not. Now, here are some bench tools that I use, or measurement tools, setup tools, that I don't like to be without either. First is just a pair of simple 1, 2, 3 setup blocks. This is a brand that I got off from Amazon. There's all different brands out there. It also has a 1, 2, 3 block, same as these, only this is solid. And then it goes from 3/4 of an inch all the way down to 1/16 of an inch. Say I'm trying to set up a certain height. I'm just going to use this, for example. I know that's how high I want it. Say this is a piece of wood. I can be at my table saw and I can make sure that, okay, that one and this one, just for example, will give me the exact height I need. Your woodworker is going to love you if you get them something like this. And what's neat on the 1, 2, 3 blocks, what that means is that these are exactly 1 inch thick, 2 inches wide, and 3 inches high. I can show you with my calipers. All 3 of these are right on. So say I'm at the table saw and I need an exact certain measurement. Going from the side of this case here, if I line up all 3, there I have 9 inches. I can add all these other ones and get it up to, well, I'm not doing that math in my head because doing math in my head is never good, but probably somewhere around 11 inches. And every fraction in between, I can get exact measurements. These are as indispensable, and I'd be lost without them. 2 other things that I use on all of my projects, almost all, there's hardly one that I can think about them that I don't, is this set of eye gauging bench squares. What is neat is on one side, see if I can get this so you can see it. This side is exactly 3/8 of an inch. This side here is 1/4 inch. So again, you can use those for setup. They overhang nicely, so they lay flat against your wood, and with that lip there, they're secure. The other nice thing about these lips, the 3/8 one is half of 3/4. So if you have a piece of wood that's 3/4 inch wide, I put that on there. Now I know right where the center of my wood is. And same thing if you had a piece that was 1/2 inch, boom, there you go. You now know that that would be your center. Or even for marking mortises. You have a 3/4 inch piece of wood, you know you want your mortise 1/4 inch wide. Well, this is 1/4 inch. Boom, you put it there. Boom, you put it there, mark it. You now have a 1/4 inch on each side and a 1/4 inch for your mortise in the middle. Indispensable. This is just a smaller brother for that, exactly the same. Again, same measuring on the wood. The other nice things about these is they have, see if it shows up better on the bigger one, little holes all along here. You can put it against your wood, drop a pencil into one of the holes, and you have an exact measurement all the way along. You also have your measurements along just like any regular speed square. And say I go right there, I have a 15-degree mark. Or I go all the way there and I have a 15-degree mark. But that'd be kind of silly because right here, I already have a 45-degree mark. But you can see it's very useful in lots of different ways. And there's a lot more functions on it than I'm going over right now, but that will be for another video, another day. And along with those, I wasn't going to share this, but I love this way too much not to share. This is also my eye gauging. iGaging makes great tools. They're reliable. They are dead on as far as being square and being accurate. I haven't found any better. I mean, Starrett's good. Starrett is very expensive. iGaging is a lot cheaper, and their tools are equal quality as far as what I can see. But again, on this layout square, you have the same 3/8 and 1/4 inch overlays on either side. You have measurements on the inside starting from here, and on the outside of this arm, they start from the very end. And it is also magnetic, so it will stand up on your table saw or something like that. So you don't have to worry about it tipping over. Those are a few layout tools that I just love. And again, I use these on almost every project. I think they're indispensable for any woodworker. We've talked about the marking and measuring tools. One that I forgot is this Woodcraft 16-foot tape. This thing is great. You can pull the tape out and just hold it. It stays out. It's not real wide, so it is going to kink if you hold it out too far. We don't use many real long measurements in woodworking. The other nice thing about it is, see, you can get this on the bottom here. It has your measurements marked out in eighths. If you're a beginning woodworker, or sometimes even myself when I'm not thinking right, you look at all those marks and you go, what the heck are those marks? And obviously, you know, okay, the ones by the big numbers, those are the inches, and the ones halfway in between, those are the half inches. What about all those little ones? On this tape measure, you don't have to worry about that because on the bottom, it's golden. They give it to you in the eighths. So you're set. Again, another product that lives right in my apron. We're going to move on to some joinery type of items. Chisel. I have been using the Marples chisels for years. They've sold out to Irwin, and they still are probably a pretty good chisel. I just haven't used them. But I did find these Narex chisels. These are chisels made in the Czech Republic. Man, these things are good. This here is one of their mortising chisels. It's a little thicker for when you're chopping out mortises. Then I have both the right and the left skew chisel, so you can see the blade is slanted. This thing is great for getting into dovetails and things like that. Got nice sloped sides. These things are incredibly sharp when you get them, and it doesn't take much to put a decent edge on them when you have to resharpen. They come with these really great blade guards also. These are one of their cheaper models. They have these all the way up to some that are pretty expensive. But for the price, even with the expensive ones, they're so much cheaper than some of the big names out there. What I like is they give you a ferrule to keep the wood from splitting. They also give you a ring at the top, so when you're hitting it with your hammer, you're not splitting the top out. These are just top-notch chisels that I can't recommend high enough. That's Narex, N-A-R-E-X. There's Western and Japanese hand saws. Japanese saws cut on a full stroke. I love that. It's so much easier. These are some of the first ones I've had. These are Shark Saw full saws. These are just a cheap brand you can get pretty much anywhere. You can replace the blade. I love this one here. If I have to cut off dowels or something that I've plugged holes with, this bends, and it works great for that. This other one from them also has a replaceable blade. This one I use mainly for general carpentry when I'm working around the house and I need to cut a 2x4 or something like that. We're in the shop. I now use the true Japanese saws. And this one is a razor saw from Japan. Each one has a name. I don't remember what the names are. It has the backbone, keeps it nice and straight. Again, cuts on the full stroke. It is also replaceable, so you can replace just the blade, keep the handle. But this is good for like dovetails and fine tuning different things. This is by the same company. Now this one has a rip cut on one side and a cross cut on the other side. Let me see if I can get this in close enough. You can see these teeth are wider and these teeth are very close together. So, as with grip blades, you're going to have larger chunks being cut out with each stroke. So again, these are indispensable for general cutting. You can also use them for joinery work. They can also, just like this little one that I showed you, this one can bend. And to be honest, I use this one more nowadays instead of this old one for cutting out dowels and trimming off. We are going to move on to our last category, plus ones. So you see these things here, you go, Mike, that's a plane. Shouldn't that be within the cutting stuff? Yes and no. This is a little different type of plane. As you can see behind me, I have a ton of different planes. This here is a shoulder plane from Veritas. This one is great for cleaning up shoulders, rabbits, dados, things like that. Its blade is as thick as the body. So that would be a plane I talk about if I was talking about cutting and measuring. Now I want to move on to talking about gluing up and cleaning up. The first thing I want to talk about is this little glue set from Rockler. Boy, you can't beat this thing. I just pour a little glue into there when I'm working on a project. And depending upon if I'm doing like dovetails or dowels, this one is great. Got a pointed end for doing dowels, a little bigger end for doing box joints. This one here is nice and big for general smoothing if I'm edge gluing. And then I got a little pointed one here that's great for dovetails. The glue doesn't stick on these things. Honestly, if I don't clean them up and leave them dry overnight, the next day I just come back in and the glue just slides right off from those and out of this. You can't beat it. So I've glued up. Now I have some squeeze out. How am I going to get that out? Well, you have this Rockler scraper. It's got two different scrapers here. This thing, I love it. I've used it for scraping down my bench when I get glue on it or paint on it. Works great. And you're wondering, okay, why is this chisel different from like the shoulder plane or the regular chisels or planes that I have? This is a flush plane. I can't get into the corners of a box or anything great with this. This flush trim, it fits right at the bottom. There's no nose in front of it. So I can get right into the corners or just flat on a surface. In fact, when I was gluing up this bench top here, I used this to clean up any of the stuff that was sticking up proud. Like you can see right there and right there, here, various places where through the years, the melamine has bubbled a little bit. This kept flat with the main part and would just take off those high spots, lickety split, no problem. So those are all the hand tools and safety items that I'd recommend. It's a nice gift for someone that you know and love. Let's see, what did I do? I'll fix this off camera. There's one more item I want to share though. This is the Oliver 145 13-inch planer. I can't speak highly enough about this thing. It does a great job. If your woodworker doesn't have a planer, this one is great. It has a hexacle head. I can never say that word right, so please forgive me on that one. It's got 2 speeds that it runs at. It is quiet. My dust collector is louder than this, and my old planer, boy, that'd wake up the whole house. It's smooth as butter when it comes out. It's just very, very impressive. Those are my ideas for a present for anybody in your life that enjoys woodworking. You want to get them a little something. The things that I've shared are like $1,000 for the planer, all the way down to like $15 for some of the smaller stuff I've shared. So it gives you a nice range of big items and stocking stuffers or grab bag things, whatever you might want to do for your woodworker. See you in the next video. Until then, keep making something.